27 bucks. Every single drop in that tank. Let's watch it go from empty to full. That's always a good feeling. Not the paying for gas part, but the part of having a full tank. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hold Fast Moto. I have really no idea of where to ride for today, but I think I'm just gonna get some coffee and then we'll go around from there. Probably go to Smoking Tiger because they do have not only coffee but pastries. What is it? It's like 9:30 right now, so it's early enough before the warmer part of the day starts. So always a good idea to ride at this time. I also last night did something. I pulled the bars back just a teeny tatty bit back, just to see if that would give me a little bit more comfort. Because I noticed, like, for shorter rides it felt great, but when I was on the freeway and I'm having to kind of push against some resistance with the wind, my lower back would get a little bit kind of tired after just a little bit of riding. So the bars now are pulled back like, I don't know, maybe half an inch or so. So I wanted to see if that would make a big difference in comfort for when I do get on the, ooh, that looks nasty, the freeway. Also, I feel like it's a little more responsive being a little bit lower right here. It definitely could just be all in my head, but it feels a little bit better that way. One thing I will say, I did figure a better way to take the bars off, or not the bars off, but the housing for the gauges without having to disconnect everything. Which is super nice, because if I do want to make more adjustments, it's a lot easier. I also may have broken a clip on the backside for like the two housings on the outside, because I couldn't get the clip out and I was trying to lift it up so I could take the plug out, and I gotta say I did so pretty unsuccessfully. Not ideal. But I mean, the plug stayed plugged in, so I was like, if I can just get this housing off without having to unplug that one, because it'd be better if I could. So the main center plug that keeps the dash or the gauges for like the odometer and speedometer, I was able to unplug those. And then I looked up on YouTube, The Great Educator, and saw that I could take the ignition switch off, and that allowed me just to pull this housing forward enough to get to the bar clamp so I could loosen it, pull the bars back a little bit, and then tighten them again. The only problem was that when you take it off, you have to fully lock it in the handlebar lock mode and then take it off, so I couldn't have my bars straight like this to measure to see, oh yeah, it's this further back or this and yada yada. So I had to do it just by like pulling it back a little bit with them in the fully left locked position. But one way I could say that if you are doing it that way and trying to gauge, if you actually turned your bars down a little bit, your mirrors, if your mirrors are lower in your shoulders, then you'll know like, hey, yeah, I actually did, you know, pull the bars back down a little bit. So that was one thing that I ran into yesterday while I was doing it, and it's actually pretty quick, because in order to get to the bars, or the, well, I still don't know what to call it, the bar clamp underneath, basically there's a couple things you do first. So there's like a little notch, you take this little silver piece of plastic off. Then there's 2 bolts over here. I think they're torque 25s. You take that off. That'll get you to the back of this where you can pull this. And then instead of what I was doing before was taking it over this entire housing through this little piece here, you go ahead and lock it all the way. You're going to put your key in, and there's videos that probably actually show you what I'm talking about instead of me walking you through it. But there's a little button under here which you can get to when this piece is off. You lock it fully and push on the button, and then when you turn the key you can pull it out, and it pulls the whole thing out. So you can pull this off enough where you can pull and remove the one electric plug-in for the main dash and speedo, which will turn this off, and you'll have to clear the system when you put it back in. When you basically go through diagnostics by holding your your travel pin thing. Again, why can't I think of anyone's names right now? This thing in your ignition switch, it allows you to do diagnostics, and you can clear it. That way your check engine light isn't on. And then I was able to pull it up and forward. Obviously it had like sweatshirt here. Unloosen it, pull the bars back a little bit, and then tighten them all. And it was a lot easier than trying to take the whole thing off and then put it back on. Because it does get a little snug in here, but you can take this whole thing off if you really wanted to. It's just a little bit more work. So, anywho, I'm already to coffee, so we are going to get coffee and kind of go from there. I may add more to this after, like riding home. I don't know. So, in case this is goodbye. Maybe we'll talk on the way back home. Yeah, let's do that. All right. 9:34. We'll see how long we get coffee and hang out with. All right, everyone. We are back after just under an hour at the shop. I went ahead and got a coffee, and they have this amazing garlic, like cream cheese roll thing. It is delicious, and I wanted to finish it all, but I thought, hey, the lady's kind of close by at home working. Why don't I do a surprise visit over there and give her some of the good stuff? The good stuff being garlic, roll, cheese, cream cheese stuff. So, anywho, that is the plan right now. I didn't tell her that I'm coming over, but I'm coming over. And it gives me a little more time to talk to you guys. So, like I said, any excuse to ride is a good excuse. But, yeah. So. But the bars feel pretty good, lowered a little bit. And again, it was just a teeny bit of an adjustment. Because I didn't need much. And it's more for like the freeway riding. If the freeway is more comfortable with the bars lowered a little bit for the longer trips, then that's kind of what matters most. Around town it wasn't bad, but it's just like a little bit on the freeway, get a little bit tired. So it's an easy fix, easy adjustment. I'm gonna go from there. So I don't know, maybe you guys can see the dials and the gauges better with them just down a little bit. You can kind of see how I see. Again, I still see all my voltage fine, all my fuel fine, and both my gauges and my touchscreen. So I also got some new software to try and do edits and then also edit thumbnails. So I'm working on those. The next edit for this video is going to be on the new software. So we will see how good or bad the edit will be. But just like anything, it's going to be a new system, so there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. So it's going to take me a while to edit it, but I'm hoping that it'll just kind of help me work through the bugs and figure out what works, what doesn't. And the only way you can learn that stuff is just by doing it. So practice makes perfect. But they never tell you that practice can hurt like a mother. But yeah, it's starting to heat up a little bit now at 10:30. But if you're moving, you got airflow, it feels fine. Half the reason I own any going through it. Ew. Half the reason I own any long sleeve is because of bike riding, honestly. Just because it keeps the sun kind of blocked off. But anywho, for now we'll kind of cut it there. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.